In this lecture, we'll take a look at how we can make use of Web API endpoints to store comments in our comments table. So here you can see we have created a table called comments with the following columns like comment, course ID, created date, author, and ID. We have also established a relationship between comments and courses. So here, if I go to relationships, you'll notice this comments, courses, and here table and column specifics. If I explore this, you will notice that the course ID column is basically related with both comments and courses. Now, in order to generate this model using Entity Framework Core, what we need to do is go to Tools, you get Package Manager Console, and inside that we'll have to write this line of code, scaffold DB context, then the connection to the database, and Microsoft.entityframeworkcore.sql server. You'll notice I've also made use of this force tag and then the output directory models. The reason why I'm making use of force is because we've already executed this command for this output directory. So let's try it now. And there you can see that the skill bakery context file is now updated. Let's go through it now. So here you'll notice we have got two attributes now, comments and courses. And let's go inside the comments class that has been generated. You'll notice the following attributes: ID, comment, course ID, created date, author, and then this courses. So now what we need to do is go to our Web API endpoint that we created in the previous lecture. So here in our Solution Explorer, we'll be going to the API directory, comments controller here, and inside this we'll be making few changes. First of all, the change will be in the route itself. So as you have noticed, our comments are related with courses, so we'll ensure that is depicted in the route as well. And once we have that in place, next thing that we need to do is make sure that we have our skill bakery context available in our comments controller. So we have a read-only variable and then the comments controller constructor, and here we are doing the assignment. Next, we'll be updating two methods. First one is the get method. So here the get method will return comments related to a particular course. So obviously we'll need a variable over here, a string course ID, and instead of IEnumerable it will be IQueryable, so that we can query the collection. And this is the class that we have generated. Next, instead of returning this item, we'll be returning collection which is based on the course ID. And here you'll notice a mismatch. The reason why, because this is long and this is string. So one way of resolving this is just making this a long, and there you go. After that, we'll be also updating post. So in our post controller, we'll be actually inserting the comments based on the course ID. So first parameter over here will be course ID. Obviously we'll make it as long because that's what we have over here as course ID. And here the type will be comments, and model name will be comment. Now inside this, we'll be first of all checking whether that particular course ID exists or not, and if it does not exist, it will return from here itself. So we're saying DB courses first to default and then the course ID, and here we'll be returning comments. Next, if everything is fine, we'll be proceeding with the addition of comments. So here we'll say comment dot course ID is equal to course ID that was passed, and then we'll say comment dot author is equal to, we'll have user dot identity dot name, and then we'll have comment dot created date is equal to datetime dot now. After that, we'll simply go ahead and say db dot comments dot add, and here we'll say comment, and finally we'll say db dot save changes, and once that's done, we'll say return comment. Now obviously for this post we'll have to create a form as well in order to save this, but in this one we'll be first of all exploring this method that we have written. So let's run this now. And here you can see that as we have defined our route in this way, API courses, course ID, comments, and when we are passing the course ID / comments, the course ID is assigned over here as 1. And let's see whether we have any comments associated with course ID 1 or not. So here I'll be executing this. Obviously it's not going to return any value because currently our comments table is empty. So here you can see it's returning an empty array.